Call down from the office. Roy wants to see the manager. The gaffer wants to see Liam Miller, Anthony Stokes, and Roy O'Donovan. I know Miller and Stokes are in trouble. They've been late again, and I'm thinking to myself, what have I done? I'm going to get abused here. So we went up and we got sent into the boardroom, and he made us wait there for about 10 minutes. Then all of a sudden he nearly kicks in the door into the boardroom. He gives it to Liam Miller, and he goes to Stokes. You have 5 or 10 minutes. You're always late. You're a joke. What are you driving? I've never seen people's cars to break down as much as you. How are you so late? And he's abusing them, and I'm thinking, what have I done? And he literally just spun on his heel and gave me the 1,000-yard stare. And I was like, and you, big time Charlie, heading back to Cork for some big party. Oh yeah, I heard all about it. Well, Hello Magazine, the Evening Echo, the Sun, the Star, they're all going to be there. Well, you can fucking forget about that, because you won't be going there, right? We're playing Chelsea next week and you've got half a chance of playing, so fuck off out of my office and fuck off going back to Cork. So obviously I was fucking frozen, come out a little bit rattled from that, but yeah, it was the only time really, I suppose, I saw that side of him.
Clock approaches on a Saturday afternoon. There's only one place to be. Welcome to this year's Barclays Premier League season.
Alex Ferguson's former enforcer, Roy Keane, had swept all before him in the Championship.
And Sunderland are in dreamland.
If the Mackems had reservations about fielding a former Magpie, well, then Michael Chopra had eased them.
Back to tonight's football, and the top two from last year's Championship, Birmingham City and Sunderland. At St Andrews was Alistair Mann.
Are we going to have our first genuine attempt on goal? We are indeed, and it's going to be the opening goal, and it counts as well. Kelly spins away in joy. The time just seemed to stand still. It's an own goal, I think, off McShane. Kelly. Wallace. On towards Connolly. It's a decent ball. There was a shove there, you know. Well, Roy Keane was incensed at half-time that his side hadn't been awarded a penalty. And indeed, we believe he went in to see the referee about it and asked the direct question, why didn't we get a penalty? And suddenly Chopra's in! And Chopra scores out of absolutely nothing. Giroud. It's Wallace, it took a deflection. That is a marvellous save, but it's going to go in anyway. And it's 2-2. And Stern John, who was a Birmingham hero not so long ago, is now celebrating at St Andrews for the visiting team. Look at that save, that is outstanding. And you have to feel for poor Colin Doyle.
Maybe everyone was a bit flat after the weekend, obviously the big high of beating Tottenham, but you know the players again showed a great desire and determination to get a result and to score so late in the match.
Now this homecoming is out of the way, Roy Keane can probably get on with being Sunderland manager rather than ex-United player. It was the unlucky with injury Sahar who finally did for him. Mr Keane came very close to cracking a smile. The retiring Ole Gunnar Solskjaer seemed rather more relaxed. Then again, he wasn't here to manage the visiting team. United's first half performance, though, was of a standard their former captain, up with which, would not have put. That from Tevez was about their only chance. At half-time, though, Fergie had a brainwave. What about sticking that Sahar fella on? And that seemed to do the trick. A decent shot, and 20 minutes from the end, the only goal. Suddenly, walking a respectful half-pace behind, the terrifying Keane looks rather humble. A precious 3 points for Roy Keane, sliding Sunderland on a day they were reminded that life and death is actually more important than the game. Members of the 1973 Cup-winning team were on hand to pay tribute to the scorer of the most famous goal in the club's history.
York. Kenwyne Jones. It's a lovely turn. It's a super goal. How about that on your home debut, and how about that for a celebration? It's a lovely turn. Look how he uses his body here to shrug off Ingi Marsson. Here's Kenwyne Jones. Oh, good ball! Oh, and it's there! 2-0! Wallace put it away!
We paid a lot of money for Kenwyne Jones. Some eyebrows were raised at the time, and yet he's been virtually an unqualified success for you. How delighted are you with his progress?
Oh, we're delighted with him. I think, again, it's been mentioned the money we spent for Kenwyne. I think we've paid about 5 or 6 million for Kenwyne. And I have to say, without being arrogant or cocky, that's not much in the modern game. You know, he's a big, strong, physical centre forward. He's quick. He's got a big presence about him. Obviously, he's got a very good first touch, and he's a big goal threat for us. So he's been a big plus for us, especially with, you know, a few games where we've played with one up front, and that's asking a lot of any striker. Never mind a young 22, 23-year-old. But you know, he's rose to the challenge, and we're delighted to him at the football club.
Pressing Arsenal hard while down at the bottom, it was all change please for Bolton and Tottenham, with both clubs opting for new managers in the hope of climbing up the table.
A return to action that can't have come soon enough for Sunderland. Their search for redemption after last weekend starts here. Now, a mistake at the back from Higginbottom allows Miller to come through. And didn't Darren Moore do so well? Ward came and didn't gather, and it's cleared off the line. Leadbitter. And it was a good turn, and it's been spilled, and Jones off the post. Back to Leadbitter. It's the closest Sunderland have come. Miller's cross to Jones, saved, and into the back of the net eventually, and it's Stokes who finally gets his first ever Premier League goal right at the very end. Roy Keane has something to smirk about.
It's probably not too early to describe this as a relegation six-pointer. Sunderland it was who took the points with the help of a player just back from injury.
Jones might just get in there ahead of O'Brien. Spins away from two. It's brilliant. Kenwyne Jones feeds it. Kieran Richardson! Jones! Wonderful corner. A wonderful celebration. So Bolton trying to get into the game before half-time. That's left by McShane as Diouf gets the goal. Gordon away, on to Jones through the middle. Murphy with the opportunity to wrap it up. He shrugs off Guthrie! And for the first time in over 6 years, Sunderland scored 3 in the Premier League.
Half-time in the Premier League season then. Arsenal out in front, but Ferguson's men just 2 points adrift. Derby, Fulham and Wigan needing to pick up form rapidly.
Michael Chopra's winning goal at Villa Park last week earns him a starting place for Sunderland, who also welcome back Kenwyne Jones after a virus. Reid available inside. Trying to work something with Whitehead. It can go left again. Richardson in a great position. Sunderland with 2 in there. Richardson's cross, and Jones! Goal! 1-1. Well, West Ham appeal for offside. Kenwyne Jones celebration for the first time. Edwards in space, needs quality. Cleared by Ferdinand, down for Reid! What a goal by Andy Reid! That is the winner with the last kick of the game, surely. Sunderland's first back-to-back victory in the Premier League for over 6 years. Edwards ball in, West Ham thought they'd clear, Reid buried the chance to prove otherwise, and Sunderland have got 3 points right at the death, and his relief is greater than anybody else's inside the ground. Keane with the arm up as though he knew it was always going to come, and I think there's even a smile on that face.
The second half we created the better opportunities, and I thought we were the better team. And you know, I spoke to the manager after the game, and he was in agreement. We just about edged it, and it was a big goal for us at the end.
On another day, Roy, Daryl Murphy would have been the hero today, but he missed his chance when he was brought off. And I know you were about to bring him off anyway. You went across to him. What did you say to him at that stage?
Well, I told him, don't worry about it. Again, I have no problem with the strikers missing chances. The best striker in the world will miss opportunities, and again, it's probably disappointing
part for Darrell would be the fact he missed it, didn't hit the target. But he played his big part today, and he was outstanding as well last week. So he'll be disappointed. But the fact is, we have to look at the bigger picture and the fact we won. And I was taking Darrell off anyway. He'd run his socks off, and fortunately for us, we ended up getting the win, and I'm sure he'll be delighted.
When you brought in Andy Reid, you were bringing in a player that you knew provided quality in certain parts of the pitch, and he did that today with free kicks and his set pieces and what have you. And today he got the winning goal. You were right behind it. Did you know it was in straight away?
Pretty much so. Again, when it comes across that way, there's lots of bodies there, and you're just hoping he gets a clean strike in it. And of course, you're always telling your players every day of the week to hit the target. He managed to do that, and I'd say overall he was probably disappointed because the set pieces weren't up to his very high standard. But when he's on the pitch, like we've seen in his short spell at the club, he does provide us with that bit of quality, and we saw that today. And as I said, that's why we brought him to the club. He's a quality player.
So 2 wins on the spin, a bit more space between yourself and the bottom 3, but the fight goes on.
Of course, listen, we're in a massive fight. It's a massive season for the football club. But again, that was a big goal for us today. But again, for us to get back-to-back victories was fantastic. Could we get 3 in a row? Miracles do happen.
Thanks, mate. Thanks, Roy. Thanks for your time.
I just kept my eye on it all the way and just concentrated on getting clean contact on it, and and luckily enough for me it went in. It's a very proud kind of moment. This is my first goal for Sunderland, and to win the game and so late on, it's great.
2 games to go, they're both belters. Our penultimate game sees 2 north-east sides who, despite being a few points clear of the drop zone, can't afford to relax just yet. Sunderland face Middlesbrough at the Riverside, watched by Steve Wilson.
Michael Chopra returns for Sunderland to add a touch of the Tyne to the Weir Tees derby for a game which the home side dare not lose.
There's been 1 or 2 flashpoints, I suppose, over the last few weeks. But I have to say there's a lot of things are blown out. I think that, again, we're on about the Mascherano, the lad Cole. But I think these players have made mistakes, and I think they've been honest enough to admit that. And I think we should give these players a break. But what you find is, particularly through the media, they'll interview ex-players, they'll probably offer them 500 quid or £1,000 to come out and slag somebody off, and they'll come out and they'll criticise them. But I think the modern footballer isn't too bad, I have to say. We go back, people compare them to players in the 70s and the 80s, but back then there wasn't the media coverage of games there. I know a lot of players back then who would go and try and break players' legs, and they'd hit people off the ball, but unfortunately you make a mistake now, there's guaranteed a camera going to get you, and that's the problem. And as I said, there's a lot of hypocrites out there criticising the modern player, and there's a lot of managers out there who are hypocrites because they're saying we've got to respect the referees, and these same managers are getting sent off themselves, And if it's not the manager, then it's their staff members. And I've been fortunate at this club where I've spoke to our staff on a number of occasions that we don't certainly abuse any of the officials. We can appeal a decision and we can ask the referee about it, maybe at half time or at the end of the game, but we don't go chasing officials around or anything like that. So credit to my players for that. It's important that you do show respect to the officials. It doesn't mean you don't appeal a decision, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately, as I said, there's a lot of hypocrites out there criticising players, and they've done a lot worse themselves. So I think go easy on the players.
Not being funny, but is it hard to tell your players to do that when you maybe got involved a few times?
No. What I've done is in the past, obviously, again, I was no angel, I know that, but obviously you've got to try and learn from your mistakes. And as I said, I look at my own club and my own players, and again, I think we've been very respectful to officials, and I think you have to be. As I said, the problem is when I hear other managers, and I'm on about big managers, talking about respecting the referees, and these same managers have been sent off themselves for abusing officials. So it makes me sick, some of them.
2 games to go, they're both belters. Our penultimate game sees 2 north-east sides who, despite being a few points clear of the drop zone, can't afford to relax just yet. Sunderland face Middlesbrough at the Riverside, watched by Steve Wilson.
What a chance this was. Jones did well, Chopra couldn't beat the fullback. Dangerous cross, Brad Jones with the half punch clear. And the header is in! What a magnificent response! Danny Higginbottom for Sunderland, who were behind for 90 seconds. Oh, what a start to this derby! Miller, onside Chopra. Chopra against Wheater, he's through Wheater, Chopra! It's in! Sunderland 2, Middlesbrough 1, Michael Chopra with the goal! Grant Ledbetter to take the corner.
Murphy just in front of the keeper, it hit the bar, did it go in? It's given! Sunderland have won it, surely in added time!
Let's get over that finishing line. We've lost the last couple of games. I thought it was a cracking game today, and I think it summed up our season. You know, gave some bad goals away, scored some good goals, and then to score the winner in injury time. Great credit to the players and the staff.
Bolton, on the other hand, having struggled for much of the season, were finding form just when they needed it most. A 2-0 win over an already safe Sunderland side helped Gary Megson prove the cynics wrong. 2 from 3 of Birmingham, Fulham and Reading were now looking at the drop. So United champions with a 2-point margin over Chelsea. Arsenal and Liverpool follow, with Everton taking 5th spot. At the bottom, Derby go down, along with Birmingham and Reading.